2020 has been a lean year in the 360 camera world. Yes, there have been some developments, but nowhere near as much as in previous years. I wonder why that could be. This video is a quick roundup of the best 360 cameras available right now at the end of 2020 that I would recommend if you were thinking about getting into 360 cameras, especially for video. So let's go. Let me just take a moment to start with which cameras didn't make it onto my shortlist here. If you were thinking about 360 photography as your main goal and you still wanted to stay ultra portable, give the Ricoh Z1 a look. There's plenty of evidence that for the money and the quality, it's a pretty good option for 360 photography. And if you really must have 8K video and you want to stay pretty light and lean in your setup, then you might want to take a look at the KuCam 8K. I couldn't recommend it personally because the pain of editing 8K video is just something I don't want to deal with. I just don't have the time or the desire to actually. So that brings me to just 3 cameras on my list of possible buys for a lean setup with easy to edit video here at the end of 2020. And the first camera I'm going to tell you about only barely made it onto my list. Let me start with the GoPro Max. Yes, it's a bit long in the tooth now, but I think there might be some deals for this camera in the holiday season. And I know you can pick this up for pretty cheap if you're lucky too in the used market. The successor to 2017's GoPro Fusion, the GoPro Max 360 comes with hero features and that 360-degree capture. It can capture that 360 sphere at 5.6K 30p footage and 1440 30 frames per second or 1080p 60 frames per second in hero mode, which is basically their flat non-360 mode. It has snap-on lens covers, it's waterproof to 5 meters and is capable of live streaming, although not in 360 and only 1080p. It has a built-in display, the fold-out mounting figures, and claims to have shotgun mic audio performance. The 360 mode features 6 mics to capture realistic 360 audio and is by all accounts pretty good, and some people think this is a really important difference, that audio. And in hero mode, directional audio allows you to prioritize sound from one side of the camera or the other, making the camera a valuable tool for vlogging if you're in an environment that's not too noisy. Now, the stabilization algorithms are good. That's max hyper smooth and max time warp, which works in both 360 and hero modes. The biggest downside of the Max, and that's why I only just made it onto this list, is that the editing experience is still pretty challenging on both the app and on desktop too, so bear that in mind. And it's worth contrasting this with the next 2 cameras on my list, where the editing experience really is second to none and best in class, in my opinion. Let's start with what I think is possibly the best all-rounder. You'll spot an interesting trend here in that all 3 cameras I have selected for my final list have, in one way or another, an easily accessible action camera type mode, whatever they call it, hero mode, Steadicam, or a straight out module swap, like in the all-rounder, the Insta360 ONE R. If you're after a 360 camera, but you also want that action camera ruggedness, well then the Insta360 ONE R modular camera system is most likely going to make the grade for you. It's also been selected as one of Time Magazine's best inventions of 2020. So yes, there are 3 interchangeable lenses or mods right now. A dual lens 360 camera shooting 5.7K over the entire sphere. Remember, this gives you a rough equivalent of 1080p if you reframe the footage for a flat screen. A 4K action camera mod and a wide angle Leica lens paired with a 1-inch sensor that's capable of capturing 5K video. The best value lies in pairing the 4K mod with the 360 mod, which you can pick up in a twin edition pack, but if you can afford it, the Leica 1-inch mod delivers the best image and video quality I've seen from an action camera, especially in low light conditions. You can pick that up as a standalone, and now you can buy a triple bundle if money isn't a problem. One of the things about the Insta360 consumer camera range, like the ONE R, the ONE X, the ONE X2 and the Go, is constant updates and feature improvements through the app used to process and control the cameras, as well as regular firmware updates for the cameras themselves. That's one of the many reasons why Insta360 has the edge here. Now, there have been some problems reported for the ONE R, like occasional lens fogging. I haven't experienced this, but do your research here before taking the plunge. Check out my review of the One R in the video description. Finally on my list, the latest update of their 360 range sees a new product in their lineup, something I see as a bit of a flagship now in the Insta360 range, the One X2. It's an update to the much loved and the most excellent original One X, and it has a heap of improvements. Let's see, there is a lot on offer, but how about the weather waterproofing to 10 meters, single lens filming like the hero mode on the GoPro Max, H.265 video codec, meaning essentially that you've got improved video output quality, that primo big bright touchscreen with live view, a better, more rugged feel, and definitely improved build quality, a bigger battery capacity for longer filming, and better connectivity through USB-C, 4 mic ambisonic audio improvement, and an external mic adapter to come. And that's not even mentioning improved flow state stabilization, and there's the absolute pleasure of the Insta360 app and the Shot Lab full of AI special effects and tips. Oh, and I say update rather than upgrade because, well, the image quality isn't that much updated from the One X. If you already have a One X, well, the choice to update really comes down to waterproofing, better Shot Lab support for interesting effects that aren't available on the original One X, live view screen, better battery life, and a more rugged housing. Check out my more detailed videos on the One X2 in my video description for the full rundown. So, 2 great Insta360 cameras in 2020 to choose from. Which one should you get? Because of the difference in thickness between the One X2 and the One R, I think the One X2 will have the edge over the One R for having fewer stitching issues for 360 video, which becomes more difficult the thicker the camera is. So for me, I think the One X2 wins over the One R for that reason, and a few more, like having more mics for better audio and not having to mess around with a cage and therefore ruining your shot if the selfie stick isn't perfectly aligned. You don't have to worry about that with the tripod mount built straight into the X2. In my view, the One X2 is now the best consumer 360 camera for 360 and reframing footage in the market, unless you have some very specific needs. Let's say you actually need a robust action camera that shoots great 4K video but also has some really cool editing features. But number one, you need something robust. Well, 360 cameras are not robust. Even if their build quality is great, those lenses are fragile, and even with lens guards on, and then you'll be thinking about whether that's compromising the quality of your video a bit. So maybe if you need an action camera first and foremost, but you like the look of 360 and you're attracted to some shots that you can get in your action activities that will change up your game a little. If that sounds like you, then I would steer you more towards the One R Twin Edition. Check out this video here for more about making that choice in my in-depth video on the One X2 as well, right here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to share, like, and applaud if it's been useful for you. My name is Saab Johal, and laters in it.